We are almost about to complete our Aura framework's basic fundamental, and the one thing that remains is how we can call an Apex method from the Aura components. There are many ways to do our server-side processing using Aura component framework. Some of these ways comes out of the box where you do not have to write any kind of Apex code and everything can be handled in your Aura component itself, like Lightning Data Service that allows you to do server-side processing on a single record, or you can use record forms in Lightning to generate your UI forms and do your server-side processings. But since in this course we are mainly focusing on Apex development, we will learn how we can call an Apex method from the Aura component framework. So the first thing that you need to do is to declare a controller inside your Aura component. So here in this example, I have an Apex class named as board controller, and now I need to associate this board controller Apex class with my Aura component, and for that I need to use this controller attribute in my Aura component tag, which is the very first tag of any Aura component. Once you do this, then you need to make sure that you annotate your Apex methods using @Aura enabled annotation. This annotation makes this Aura method available for our Aura components, and if you do not have this annotation, then you will not be able to call this method from your Aura component. So that's our step 2. Now in our step 3, we just need to call our Apex method from any of our JavaScript file. It can be our controller file, it can be our helper file, or it can be our render file as well. And as part of this syntax, first you need to define an action which we call an Apex method call action. Here you need to give your Apex method name, which is the add result, and before that you need to give the namespace. So here in our case our namespace is C, but if you are working on a managed package, then you need to give your managed package namespace. After this you can define your parameters. So if your Apex method accepts any kind of parameters, you need to supply those from here. Then you need to define a callback. A callback is something that gets executed once you get a response from your Apex method. So if you want to do some kind of post processing in your Aura component, then you need to do that here. For example, once we start loading our game result, we'll wait for our Apex method's response, and as soon as we get our response, we need to refresh our data table and we need to show the result back to the user. So these kind of operations you need to do in the callback method. And the last step would be to call the Apex method, and for that again we are going to use our $A, which represents the Aura framework itself, and then the enqueue action method. So now let's go back to our Salesforce org, and first we need to create an object where we'll store our game result. So let's open our setup page. Let's go to Object Manager, and here we'll create a new custom object. We are going to store our game result in this object, so I'm going to name it as word shuffle. Let's copy this and paste here. We are going to have an auto number as our record name, and let's change the label to game number and the display format to game 0000, and let's click on save. Now let's go to fields and relationships, and we are going to create 2 custom fields in this object. First one is to store the game mode, so this should be of type string or text. Let's name it as mode, and the length should be 10. Let's leave all the options as it is, and let's create another field. This one is to store the game result, so again this will be a text field. Let's label it as result, and the length should be 10. And that's it. So we have created our custom object and 2 custom fields. So here in this object we are going to store our game number, which will be auto incremented since we have this as auto numbered. Then we are going to store the mode, the result, and the created date time, which is a standard field that comes with any custom object. Now, if you want to get this object's metadata in your SFDX project as well, then you can open the VS Code, and here you can click on this org browser, which is I guess the 7th option in this left panel, and we need to check for custom objects. Although this step is not necessary, I just want to show you guys how you can get the metadata from your Salesforce org to your VS Code. So here, once you open this org browser, you see all the metadata types, and what we are interested in is in this custom objects, and here we need to check for our word shuffle custom object, which should be the last one, and then you can click on this cloud download icon, and this is going to download the metadata of our word shuffle custom object. Looks like the download is complete. You can check it by going to this Explorer, and we need to expand the objects folder here, and you see now we have the word shuffle custom object here, and we have all the fields as well. In the next video, we are going to create an Apex method, and we are going to call that Apex method from our board panel component to store our game's result.